For those of us with a Creality Falcon, having a plain timber board is no more. So today I'm going to show you how you can get creative with timber boards. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how I made this one. It's a recipe of my mother's handwriting, which I then popped in my shop and got a lot of attention from. So I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks on that one and also make a second board, and I'm going to give it a little twist. So stay tuned and let's make this one on the Falcon Pro. Choosing the right timber for the job is an integral part of your design. I have a few different timbers here that I really love, so I steer towards those blonder or lighter timbers so that I get a really distinct engrave and the colour really pops. Now, I do really like acacia wood. Even though there's variegation in the timber, I find that the engrave still looks crisp and it's quite dark across the variegations. In saying that, I am not a big fan of bamboo myself because I find it has bands of light and dark in the engrave. Now, you can treat your timber prior to engraving with a borax solution, but keep in mind that that is not a food safe option. You can also try a bicarb soda kind of solution. It won't be as effective as a borax, but it will darken that engrave. I personally just like it natural, but if you would like to try one of those options, it is available. At the end of the engrave, I do treat my wooden boards with a food safe wood oil. Although you're probably not using that board every day, some people like to use the back of the board. It is nice to know that that is a food safe item. So let's get into our design and get cracking. For the handwritten board, I had my mother write the recipe down on a plain white piece of paper. Obviously, this is more simple than some traces, but I will show you how it is done. So I'll drop that image now into Lightburn. And it's come up very, very big. So I'll reduce that size there. You can see how big that file was. So I'm going to bring it down onto the workspace so it is not too crazy big a file. And now I'm going to come up to Tools, Trace Image, and it will show you there on the screen how effective the trace is. Now you can move this threshold around and you'll see the difference is you're starting to get the color there on the edge of the page. So I don't want it to be over traced because it will make the text blobby, but I think that looks pretty good. So let's have a look at that. There we have our text, complete with the mistake that we had in the text. So I'm going to come and I'm going to cut that section out there. Now this is obviously oversimplified because I was able to have my mum write the recipe out on a plain white piece of paper. I did have one customer who gave me a handwritten card that was from their grandparent. Now over time, ink will seep into a card. So if you have to, you can pop that image then into a photo editor and really manipulate the image to get the handwriting as best you can. Now, if it is impossible to get a good clean trace off of an image that you have put into a photo editor and tried to manipulate as best you can, then I would suggest putting it on an iPad and with a pen or an Apple Pencil, actually trace the lettering, and that may be the best that you can in terms of authenticity of that lettering. If I was then doing this piece, I would just clean up this mistake in here, move that section there up, and then do my engrave. I've gone ahead now and I've designed a very simple design in Lightburn using two separate fonts and a couple of little images of hearts and stars. Now I have used two separate fonts that I have the commercial license for, keeping in mind that if you are going to be selling your item, that you should have the commercial font license for that font. Now I'm ready to go ahead and engrave that layer. The board's now out of the laser. It's looking gorgeous. The engrave is really lovely and consistent across all of the lettering. I'm so happy with the way it's come out. It's perfect as a gift or as a product in one of your stores, but I'm going to give this one a little bit of an added touch. To make this project something really special, I'm going to actually add some sprinkles in some resin. After I set the resin, I'm going to give the board a light oil using a food safe oil, and then I'll show you the finished product. I'm loving the way this one's come up. The engrave is just gorgeous. The sprinkles are something fun. So thanks for watching today. Thank you to Creality Falcon for sponsoring the tutorial. I'm Heidi. I'm the Crafty Socialite on social media. So check out my page for other tips and tricks. Until next time, I'll see you then.